tonight on the Final Play. LSU responds to adversity by ruining Florida's homecoming game. A trip to the Swamp is in order. While uptown, Tulane kept the winning going as they blew past the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. We're recapping the weekend on the gridiron and looking at the road ahead for the Saints. Plus,
the urgency is there for sure.
The Pelican season is just 10 days away, and expectations are as high as they've ever been.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough, and Nissan.
Welcome into the Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid, and everyone knows that the home team is supposed to win the homecoming game. But it doesn't always happen that way. LSU found that out the hard way last week when they lost their homecoming game to Troy, which prompted Trojan fans to thank LSU for their homecoming invite. Saturday night, LSU fans were sending the Gators that same thank you card after the Tigers escaped the Swamp with a 1-point win. Chris Hagan takes a look back.
The last 7 days in Baton Rouge, difficult to say the least.
It was a tough week. A lot of adversity, a lot of noise, a lot of things outside the program, and we just kept, the leadership in the locker room really stood out, and we really tried to get guys going.
And we had to just play as ourselves and find our identity, as I was saying earlier in the week. And I think we're closer. We're a step closer to figuring out who we really want to be.
And who they want to be is a much more determined squad than the one we saw last week against Troy.
This team made a decision on Monday that they were going to do everything to win this football game under any conditions, and they did that.
The 1-point win over Florida was as physical as they come, and LSU's performance was partially a result of being called weak in the trenches all week long.
Well, they heard enough, I'm sure, about us not being physical and us not having LSU football. Their pride was hurt. They came out to prove it tonight.
I mean, at the end of the day, I know I'm not soft. I know my team not soft, but we was playing soft, and we had to fix it. But I'm glad people called us out on it because, we just have to respond.
Devin White's response spoke the loudest. He led all players with 13 tackles and 1 sack. Coach O says he wasn't at all surprised to see his sophomore leader at linebacker step up the way he did.
Devin was the first one in the office on Sunday. He just come and said, Coach, I want you to hold me to a higher standard. We're going to get the leaders together, and we're going to get this fixed.
And while it is fixed temporarily, 6 SEC games remain, many of which will be tougher tests than Florida. The Tigers need consistency to survive, but they also say they need fans that will weather the storm.
If you're with us, you're with us. And if you're not, you're not. We don't like roller coaster fans, so hop on board and let's see where the ship goes.
I feel good for the team. I feel good for the fans. I feel good for everybody. Everybody was hurt. We got a prideful organization. We got a prideful tradition, all the ex-players. I know they were wondering what's going on, and I just feel good for the whole LSU family.
Reporting on the Tigers, I'm Chris Hagan for the Final Play.
The newest AP poll is out, and Oklahoma's loss as the 3 seed means everyone behind them moves up. Alabama's still number 1, 43 first-place votes at 6-0, followed by Clemson, Penn State, Georgia, Washington at number 5. TCU is number 6. On the notables page, LSU's win wasn't enough to get them back in the AP top 25, but their next opponent, Auburn, has moved up to number 10. And 3 American Athletic Conference teams are in the top 25. South Florida is 18, Central Florida 22, Navy is 25. Tulane lost to Navy a month ago. Will face South Florida in a couple of weeks. Speaking of the wave, 20 years ago, a Tommy Bowden-led Tulane team put up 65 points in a win against Louisville. 2 decades later, and the Greenies found that kind of offensive groove again as they blew out the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Garland Gillen has that story from Uptown.
The first play from scrimmage, it became very apparent that Tulane would relish the early start time due to Hurricane Nate. One team firing on all cylinders, the other just ready to evacuate the Crescent City.
Fortunately, we practice in the mornings, so our guys are used to getting up at 5:30 every morning. We eat breakfast at 6. We begin meetings at 7 after they get taped. Then we start practice at 8:15. So this game time start was about like period number 20 for us in practice. So it's, I told the guys last night, hey, you're going to get to sleep in an extra half hour. We're going to get you up at 6 instead of 5:30.
I didn't feel no difference in the game. We could have played at 7. We could have played at 3. It really didn't matter. We was ready to go.
The score so lopsided, Wave fans left at halftime, cheering, not booing like so many years before.
It's tough to be mentally tough every day. A lot of guys, get challenged by that, and they start, fading away a little bit. But we're trying to have that upward trajectory with our improvement on a daily basis. And, when you start doing that, you start getting really good.
2 weeks ago, Jonathan Banks delivered a win against Army. Saturday, he kept his precision by run and pass intact with a little help from Dontrell Hilliard, who racked up 4 touchdowns.
It's fun. But at the same time, I got to give thanks to my receivers, O-line, for doing a great job, allowing me to get in the holes, creating a space that I needed to do what I do.
I feel real happy today. I was able to move around a little better, move around with confidence, throw the ball accurately, so I feel real better.
Don't say this too often, but the Wave own a win streak now, 2 in a row, and the confidence only continues to grow.
They ought to get excited by this. Tulsa's kind of had their way with Tulane over the last 13 years, and we played well today. We did a good job.
The Wave is one step closer to 6 wins, which gets them a bowl berth. Next up, a road trip to Miami to face Florida International. Then the week after, national-ranked South Florida comes to Ullman Stadium. From Uptown, Carl and Gillen for the final play.
The winning didn't stop over in Thibodaux as Nicholls State took care of business against Northwestern State on both sides of the ball to come away with a hard-fought 14-10 win. Afterwards, the Colonels proclaimed themselves as the real NSU. And up in Strawberry Stadium, Southeastern ran their streak of wins to 3 in a row after beating back Incarnate Word 49-30. 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns by the Lions were too much for UIW to overcome, and it ended up being a nice homecoming win for Line Up. Much more final play to get to on the other side of this break, including a bye-week look at the Saints after 4 games. Sean Vazan will break down the play of this year's draft class, and later, the preseason is winding down for the Pelicans. We'll take you to Chicago for highlights from tonight's tip against the Bulls. Stay with us.
Watching the final play.
A huge key to the Saints' current 2-game win streak, guys that are playing their first season in the NFL are playing very well, especially the team's most recent draft class. Here's Sean Vazan.
Instant impact. If a team is lucky, 1 or 2 of their draft picks are able to make it. But in the Saints' case, they've had quite a few fall under this category. Beginning with their top 2 choices.
And it's incomplete. Good coverage.
Cornerback Marshawn Lattimore has been exactly what the Saints envisioned him to be. A day 1 starter capable of playing the opposing offense's top receiver. Pro Football Focus graded him the 4th highest cornerback in the NFL through 4 games. The Ryan Ramczyk pick was heavily criticized when the Saints picked him at 32. Those critics are getting harder to find now. Ramczyk hasn't missed a snap and has started at both tackle positions, and he's been steady. And it looks like he'll stay a starter on the right side with Zach Streep going to injured reserve and the return of Teron Armstead. Second-round pick Marcus Williams played 98% of the snaps on defense Sunday, second to only A.J. Klein. And he's played well. He's already recorded his first interception against Carolina.
Kamara gets the call right side. Kamara free inside the 20, running to the sideline.
Running back Alvin Kamara looks like Sean Payton's new favorite toy, a Swiss Army knife who lines up anywhere on the field for this offense. Kamara is second on the team in receptions, second on the team in rushing yards, and tops on the team in yards per carry. And he's had that kind of an impact while playing in just 35% of the offensive snaps. Something tells me that may change in the coming weeks. Linebacker Alex Anzalone is now on IR, but was an opening day starter. And though he struggled against New England, he showed flashes of being the player they drafted him to be. His health in the future, though, will be a factor. Throw in Trey Hendrickson, who's also gotten a sack while rotating along the defensive line, and the Saints' top 6 draft picks have made significant contributions to the 2-2 start.
First you heard him, now you see him. Sean Vazan joins us here on the final play. Are you surprised the rookies have adjusted so quickly?
Not really, because we saw in the preseason how the Saints were using them. It became pretty clear, at least to me, that the Saints trusted these guys, these young guys, inserted them into the starting lineup right away. You know, Lattimore looked like a guy that were going to start right away. Ramczyk was a guy that was pretty much a starter right away. We saw what Kamara did in the preseason. So, no, but preseason is different than the regular season. It's not just that they have adjusted. They've played well, and I'm not sure where this team would be without them. So far, so good in this early rookie draft class.
Is it pretty obvious who's had the most impact as a rookie?
Through 4 games, I got to be honest. To me, I'd go with Ryan Ramczyk because I'm not sure where this team would be, this offensive line would be, if he wasn't so versatile.
No doubt.
And that's a rookie in his first couple games of his career, not just getting used to the NFL, but also changing sides, which I think we take that for granted a little bit. That's like going from right-handed to left-handed. So I think his versatility has allowed the Saints to withstand some early blows to that offensive line injury-wise, and now he's got some confidence underneath him. Now they're getting a little bit healthier with Teron Armstead. Obviously, Zach Strief goes down, but the plan was for Ramczyk to step up anyway. So I think Ryan Ramczyk has been the most important rookie through the first 4 games.
So when you look back on the season as a whole, let's say they get to the playoffs, which rookie do you think will have had been the most important, had the most impact?
Ramczyk for the first 4 games, but for the entire season, I got to go Lattimore. He's been exactly what the Saints thought he was going to be. He is a legitimate cornerback that can really shut down the opposing team's top offensive weapon. We saw it with Brandon Cooks. We saw it last week. So I think Marshawn Lattimore is really, and it's good to finally see the Saints target a player. He was higher on their draft board. They make the selection, and very quickly, the vision you had for him comes to fruition.
So Alex Anzalone, another player they got early in the draft, he goes down this week with a shoulder injury over in London, put on injury reserve on Wednesday. How might this affect his NFL career going forward, what they expect from him?
Well, look, he came in with injury issues. What it does going forward, we'll see. I would imagine the Saints are going to be patient with him over the next couple of years. But if it's an Ellerby situation where he's always injured, you know, obviously that can something that'll determine his fate down the road. But let me just tell you, it may not be stat-wise all the time, but defensive coordinator Dennis Allen's going to miss Alex Anzalone. His position flexibility, where he lines up pre-snap, the Saints are able to disguise a lot of things with him. So him being gone, I think, is going to hurt a little bit more than maybe people realize. They're pretty well stocked at linebacker, so they'll have enough quality bodies to replace him. But he was a starter for a reason, and he beat out some pretty good veterans to get there. So I think Alex Anzalone, I think his future's still here in New Orleans.
It seems like the Saints have had more misses than hits in the NFL draft since Sean Payton's been here. But every draft is always going to be compared to the 2006 draft when they got all those players, end up going to the Super Bowl with that group. Can this class be as good as what happened 11 years ago?
Well, let's think to 06. You had Reggie Bush, you had Roman Harper, you had Marcus Colson, you had Jari Evans, you had Zach Strief. That's 5 players right there. You had Ninkovich, 6, who ended up having a great career. Already with the Saints. You got Marshawn Lattimore. You got Ryan Ramczyk. Alex Anzalone before he got hurt. Marcus Williams has played 98% of the snaps last week. You also have Alvin Kamara, who's had a great year. Trey Hendrickson has thrown in with a little bit of contribution. That's 6 players in 4 weeks. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and say it's going to be as good as that class. But the start, that's a pretty good start for that class. So it may become that class at some point. We'll see.
And Muhammad's another guy that we'd like to see get on the field as well. All right, Sean Vazan here at Fox 8. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Coming up, the Pelicans are hoping they've got the right pieces of the puzzle in place to make the playoffs. We'll check in on their preseason and look ahead to the regular season, which is just 10 days away from tipping off.
You're watching The Final Play.
Back here on The Final Play, the Pelicans back on the court for preseason basketball tonight. They're in Chicago. Drew Holiday to Boogie Cousins. He drains the 3 to give the Pelicans an early lead. Anthony Davis also in the game tonight, seeing significant minutes. He explodes to the rim, gets the and 1 to go. Pelicans keep that slim lead. A bit later on, Ian Clark, one of the new players with the steal, gets it up to Boogie. He scores, draws the foul. Pels win at 108-95. The team's season opener is just 10 days away. With more on that, here's Chris Hagan.
We're now joined by Will Guillory of NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, the Pelicans beat writer. And Will, the anticipation is certainly high for this team, but the pressure should be just as high. How do you think this team comes out of the gate?
Oh, they have to start fast, especially considering the past few seasons, the first 12 games pretty much knocked them out the playoffs. Last year, starting 1-11 without Drew Holiday, it kind of just took the season off the track. So now they have to feel like they got to get off to a fast start, kind of get this thing rolling, and feel like the Boogie and AD combination kind of working together can get them on the right track.
Like you mentioned, their injuries have been just such a big part of why they started slow the last couple of years. When you take that away and you have a healthy team, there's really no excuses, right?
Absolutely not. With all the talent on this team, with Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, the veteran leadership of Rajon Rondo and Tony Allen, you have to think this team has to be ready to make that push for the playoffs. And if not, you got to think a lot of change is going to be around this organization sooner than later.
Certainly, if you look at this roster a couple years ago, maybe before KD goes to the Warriors, or some of these super teams form, it's one of the most talented, of course, in the league, but can you still consider it that, even with some of the super teams out there, especially in the West?
Well, I think this team still obviously has a long way to go. This is their first full season together. A lot of those other teams, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors, a lot of those guys have been together for 3-4 years, have been through those playoffs battles. None of these guys have been together in the playoffs, so they're going to have to figure this thing out. It's going to take them time, but you have to think they have to be among those top 8 teams in the West, or it's going to be bad for everybody.
Now, that said, to be among those top 8 teams, they're going to have to play really good night in and night out, because when you've got to go up against some of these teams in the West 3 and 4 times, it's never going to be an easy fight. So how quickly do they have to come together?
Oh, it has to be sooner rather than later. And I think, especially the beginning of the season, when you have so many teams like Cleveland, Golden State on the schedule, you have to come out fast, and you're going to have to do it against some of the best teams in the league. So there's a lot of pressure here, but this team feels like they're ready for this challenge, and they've been together since early in the summer, especially with some of the new guys with Rondo. They've been around kind of building this team chemistry, so they think they're ready to get off to a fast start, but they're going to have to prove it on the court.
DeMarcus Cousins is still kind of the shiny new toy, the new addition that everybody wants to talk about. But look, I'm thinking about Rajon Rondo because of the championship caliber experience he brings when Rondo's dialed in, and there's not the attitude or off the court, which doesn't seem to be an issue right now, obviously. How good can he be, and how much can he elevate the talent around him?
Oh, when it comes to just creating offense and making sure guys are in the right spot and you're getting open shots, there are a few guys in the league as good as Rajon Rondo. He doesn't necessarily have the jump shot of some of the top point guards around, but when it comes to feeding a guy like Anthony Davis, feeding DeMarcus Cousins, he can get them the shots that they need to be effective. It's just a matter of making sure he can work around the team concept and getting Drew Holiday involved as well. But when it comes to just getting shots for Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, I think getting Rajon Rondo was probably one of the best additions this team could have made during the offseason.
And how much just does it help to have that alpha male? Because AD's not that guy that's he's gonna take his shots, he's gonna get his points, but he's not that take the ball and take over a game type of guy. Rondo might tell him to. He might tell Boogie to. He might force Drew Holiday to get aggressive. How important is it to have that alpha male?
Yeah, AD and DeMarcus are two of the best players in this league, but they're still very young. AD's only played 4 games in the playoffs when he got swept against the Warriors. DeMarcus has never been in the playoffs. So these guys have been around. They've done a lot of things in this league, but they still have to prove that they can win. And Rondo's done that. He did that in Boston. He did that in Chicago last year. So he knows what it takes to take this team to the next level. It's just a matter of getting it done on the court and making sure AD and DeMarcus are on the same page.
And in terms of Drew Holiday, his signing obviously came before Rajon Rondo. When you brought Holiday back, you're thinking you get a combo guard, a guy who's going to score and handle the rock. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to start at the 2. How much does that change what Drew Holiday needs to do out there on the floor, and really how much he needs to become more of an alpha, more of a scorer?
Absolutely. I think he understands that with this current roster, he's going to have to become more of a scorer. He's going to have to take more of those long-distance shots, especially considering the attention that Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins get on a night-to-night basis. So he knows he's going to have to take those shots. It's just a matter of making sure he's comfortable in that role. And he knows how to play next to another point guard. He's done that throughout his career. He did it when he was in college at UCLA. So he knows how to do it. It's just a matter of being comfortable getting those shots on a night-to-night basis, knowing that you're probably going to be after DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis on the pecking order, of course.
One thing around the league, though, when you see winning teams and teams that are making runs in the playoffs, they have depth. We know the Pelicans have bolstered up their starting lineup, but what do they have depth-wise?
I think the benches might be a little deeper than people think, just because the addition of Darius Miller, the addition of Tony Allen, and Clark, these guys have experience in this league. They know what they need to do on the bench to come in and play that role. So it's just a matter of making sure they fit in with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. But I think those guys are prepared to come in and play a really big role on this team, especially a guy like Ian Clark, who was kind of like the 12th man in Golden State for the past few years. Now he has the opportunity to kind of prove what he can do with minutes on a night-to-night basis. So I think he's looking forward to it. And I think the bench could be a lot better than some people think.
Of course, one deficiency, though, that still stands out, the three, the wing. They got Dante Cunningham back, actually for a cheaper price, and they would have gotten him back early in the summer. But still, there's work to be done there. Can they overcome that deficiency?
I think it'll be tough. I think Dante Cunningham is probably one of the better guys they can put in that role just because he's been with the team so long. He knows how to play that role player kind of role on a team, and he can do everything they need from that spot. But if they're going to need some more offense, he's probably not going to be the guy to provide it. They're going to have to turn to some of those guys on the bench. But when it comes to just playing defense, hustling on a night-to-night basis, then Dante Cunningham to be that guy, I think, for sure.
And last thing, well, Sam Presti, he set the bar high.
Yeah.
Landing Carmelo Anthony, landing Paul George in OKC, that's tough. But Dell Demps has brought in some talent. He made a blockbuster trade last year during the All-Star break. He brings in Rondo, Tony Allen, and some guys. How do you grade the work he's done over the last couple of months to get better?
Well, I think first and foremost, getting DeMarcus Cousins has to be one of the better moves he's made since he's been in New Orleans. Getting another all-star player to play next to Anthony Davis, that's big time for this franchise. Now a matter of getting the right pieces to fit around those guys. I think getting Tony Allen, getting Rondo, that veteran and experience, I think was the right moves. Now it's just a matter of getting the right shooting around Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, because it's one thing to have two big guys that can do all they need to do, but you still need guys to hit those open shots on the perimeter. And I don't think they necessarily have those guys right now, but I think that's a lot easier to find than another all-star, another DeMarcus Cousins, that's for sure.
Certainly a lot to look forward to as a highly anticipated season gets ready to begin in just a matter of days, less than 2 weeks now. Will Guillory of NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, a look back at some of the best plays from Week 6 of high school football.
Watching the Final Play.
Welcome back to the Final Play, and we didn't decide until late this afternoon this week's Catch of the Week. We had some choices, but to borrow a line from former St. Roman Harper, at the end of the day, Tulane's Taron Ancalad gets the honor. In the Green Waves blowout of Tulsa, how about this go-up-and-grab-it effort from Ancalad, out-jumping the Tulsa corner for the catch, and he'd score. Ancalad finished with just 2 catches on the game, but this was by far the most impressive one. Our play of the week takes us back to the thriller at Tad Gormley Stadium Friday night. Edna Carr on defense. Chance Carroll kicks a deflected ball with his shin. Bilal Muhammad reacts lightning fast to make the interception for the Cougars. It took a team effort to stave off the Ron Eagles, 35-20. And here are our nominees for this week's High School Player of the Week. First up, John Curtis quarterback Colin Guggenheim, 190 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns scored, 55 yards passing in the Patriots' 56-28 win over Jesuit. How about St. Charles Catholic running back Philip Tran? He only had 43 yards rushing, but 3 of those carries were for touchdowns. And then he had 74 yards receiving, another touchdown as the Comets beat Lusher 45-0. And down in Vanderbilt Catholic, quarterback Andrew Robinson, 305 yards passing, 5 passing touchdowns as Vandy beat Elder 41-35. To vote, go to fox8live.com/player. And that's our show for tonight. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday night for the Final Play.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Final Play.